What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy. Welcome back to the channel. It has been a minute since I've seen you and you've seen me, but I am back, and as always in a big way. And today I want to present to you the highest mileage, the cheapest 2024 Nissan GTR Premium that was on the market. Now it's officially mine, and I am so excited to go over the whole car with you. What has changed since the last two that I've owned? Both of them had problems when I started modifying them, yet here I am back again to do another modification, another build on this GTR. And well, I want to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there is some good parts about this car, including the redesign, and there's a lot of ugly parts on this car as well, and the things that I didn't know about when I bought it. Of course, the dealerships never tell you the whole story, so let's jump right into it. Now, I know a lot of you longtime subscribers are going to be like, Alex, you've had two GTRs. You had a 2019 brand new Nissan GTR Track Edition, which was amazing. It had issues from the get-go. From the factory, it was falling apart. Then you went and modified it, had more problems. You sold that thing. You brought back a 2017 used one. It was a jet black pearl. That thing was beautiful. Bone stock with just an exhaust on it. I went and got it modified. Straight to problems. Fuel pump started failing. I just couldn't catch a break. I sold that car and I told myself two times is enough to figure out if I'm going to like something or not. Well, it's been a minute. I had my twin turbo R8. Loved the turbo sounds, the spooling up, but I just had problems with that car, as you guys all know. So I decided, I haven't had a car for about a year at this point, nothing fun. Why not jump into it and jump headfirst into something, well, I thought was going to be a great purchase. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2024 Nissan GTR Premium Edition, finished in a jet black pearl. Obviously, it's got some modifications done to it, and it's got the red amber interior, which was a $5,000 option. Not many options on these cars, but this was a very expensive and, in my opinion, a very nice option. I hate black basic interiors, especially cars that are well over $100,000, and I will reveal the price I bought this one for at the end of the video. I know a lot of you are going to say, well, Alex, why did you not get like a 2017 through 2023? That is the redesign, the major redesign that Nissan did with these cars, including the front end, the interior. I wanted to get a 2024 for two reasons. Number one, this is the last year of production for the GTRs, and I don't know if you've seen the prices recently. Yesterday when I checked, there was only 13 in the whole US market and only one premium for sale. The rest are T-Spec, Godzilla Edition, or Skyline Edition, and they're going for almost 200,000, if not more. So this one was in my budget, and I quite honestly wanted to see if I liked the front end a little bit better, because in 2024 they put a different redesign in the front end, including the bumper, the front lip, as you can tell, the lights as well, the canards, and they did some work in the rear as well. Now in the back of the car, they did put a new rear bumper, different styling. This diffuser looks a little bit different than my 2017 did and my 19, and well, they did have a different spoiler as well. In this case, I have an aftermarket APR spoiler, so I can't really show it to you, but according to Nissan, the new spoiler they put on is better for downforce and still does not give any more drag than the previous model that they had, so that's pretty cool. So let's go over all the modifications that have been done to the car. These are not the reasons that I really bought the car for. It was literally the only premium that was for sale in the market that was under like $160,000, so I figured why not jump into it, especially since this is the last year. Nissan hasn't announced that they're officially going to be building anymore. By the way, comment down below, what do you think of these modifications? It's not going to hurt my feelings because I didn't do them, so you know, the previous owner did it, and you know, some things I agree with and some I don't. But the first one is the APR performance wing. So this one is a carbon fiber wing. It's pretty cool because you can actually adjust the angles of it. I'm not going to act like I know how to do any of that. It's a hit or miss for me whether I like it or not. It's a little too much. I hate big wings. Now, like a GT3 RS, it makes sense to do it. If I was tracking this car, maybe it would make sense to do it, but for the most part, it's factory stock. It's not wide body. It's got stock wheels on it, so to put a big wing like that, it's a little bit of overkill. It also has a Darwin Pro Nismo style carbon fiber trunk. Now you're going to say, well, it don't look carbon fiber, but if you look up close, it actually is. It's got the weave. It has the wrap on it, or the PPF that changes the color of it. It's pretty cool because it almost blends in, but when you get up and close, you can tell the difference on it. It fits decent, and it also has these carbon fiber exhaust tips. Now, from what I can tell, guys, this is a factory exhaust because you still got that big muffler that usually sits in the middle on stock exhaust. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I am, and I hope it does have an exhaust, but from what I can hear, it sounds pretty factory to me. Now, the only thing that kind of throws me off is it has this remote. So when I bought the car, I asked them, I was like, what is this for? And they said, oh, that's actually for the security system. I was like, that don't look like a security system. Why would it have an auto button? So I started messing with it, and it's actually for the exhaust valves. Now, this this car comes with exhaust valves from factory that I think are automatic when they open and close depending on how fast you're going, your RPMs. But with this, you can actually adjust it now. So I don't know if they just did like aftermarket valve regulator on there, whatever you want to call it, controller. But again, it sounds pretty stock to me. I don't hear a big difference from what I remember. I can definitely guarantee you now this thing is not tuned because, well, it's still got a rev limiter at 4,000. So probably just got the exhaust muffler tips or whatever, maybe carbon fiber even just covers on it, and it's got the controller, but that's about it. So the best part though, well, kind of a hit or miss. This is the one I'm still trying to figure out if what I think about it is this wrap. It's called the STEK Dyno Prism. I'm pretty sure it's a very expensive PPF. Correction, it is not a wrap. This is a PPF that's color changing, and if you look at it one angle it looks purple, if you look at another it looks blue. It blows my mind. It definitely gets a lot of attention when you're driving it. Now, full transparency, when I was buying this car I asked for a walk around video from the dealer and it was gloomy outside, so this paint or this PPF film definitely didn't look like somebody dropped a gallon of glitter on here. I mean, it really hits you in the face when you're driving. A lot of people think that I'm just driving my wife's car. I don't know what to think of it. I love the way it changes colors, and I love the fact this is PPF. This is not an actual wrap. I didn't even know that was such a thing that existed. So comment down below, what do you think of this color? Also, this interior is just gorgeous, man. My last two had black interiors, but this red really pops. I think the steering wheel red is a little too much. I'll definitely want to get a carbon fiber for it, but the rest of it looks super nice. And quite honestly, I mean, the seats for the most part look good. The passenger and the back seats look like nobody ever sat in it. This one does show a little bit of wrinklage, which is normal on these GTR seats. And now let's move on to the fun part, and that is all the things that are actually wrong with it, all the things that I wasn't told about. And quite honestly, when I got there, this color just hit me right in the face. I wasn't even looking at the scratches or dings or anything like that. I didn't even notice them. I was just so hit in the face with this color until I got home and I was like, well, all right, now that I've calmed down and the hype is over, let me see what it's all about. And let's start with the front. So the front, I'm so happy it's got the PPF. Even the lip has a PPF on it, but as you can tell, it's definitely seen some better days. This does peel off, looks like, which is good. This is covered in PPF. The headlights look like they are as well, like a film, but there is a ding on the bumper, so it's a dent, decent sized dent, even with the cover on it, the film, which will protect from any scratches, but you can definitely tell that something happened there. Moving to the sides, everything is good except this right here. This little side skirt right there looks like has some scratches underneath the film. I don't know why you would wrap it instead of just replacing it and then wrapping it, but somebody was definitely cheaping out. I actually know who the previous owner is because, well, we have a mutual friend, and when I texted him, he definitely ghosted me, didn't say anything. So I'm pretty sure there's some things with this car that I'll learn in the long run. Also, moving to the back, this is the major situation area. So the rear bumper piece, I started noticing, I was like, man, why is there double-sided tape on the back piece of this like diffuser of the bumper? And I went to the side here and I was like, oh, wait a minute, there's a crack right there. Maybe it's just a small little crack. Maybe you just bumped into something. And then I got under and I was like, nope, that's I don't know if you can see, that is definitely a crack all the way through. So it must have hit something, ripped that off. He put it back and it probably broke a clip on here, so he used double-sided tape. Fantastic on a 100,000 plus car, you know. But wait, it gets better. So let's go ahead and pop the trunk, right? So I bought the car, I'm putting my stuff in here. I'm like, man, well, I didn't even look in the trunk. How's the trunk doing? So when you open this trunk, first off, you start hearing noises, which is not good as it is because this is a carbon fiber trunk, right? Second off, that is, believe it or not, that is a heavy spoiler on there. I don't care if it's carbon fiber or not. I hope it's carbon fiber, but even the brackets and everything like that, you can see we're custom drilled in here. And if you really get close, you're gonna start noticing there is cracks going all the way through this. Like, it is actually cracking where they drilled the bolts through here. So long story short, it looks like this spoiler is a little too big for this trunk, especially for a carbon fiber trunk, and you have to be super gentle with it because I don't know what speeds, but I have a feeling at some point those brackets and that spoiler is just going to rip off if I get over 100, probably 150. I don't know. We'll probably test that out once we start modifying this car. Now let's move on to the interior. For the most part, interior is fine. There is a few things, signs of wear, like for example this right here, this thread is actually coming out of the seat, so I'll get that fixed. Luckily it didn't you know, rip or anything like that. There is scratches here. This was the same issue on my other GTR with the black seats. It was also showing a lot of wear real quick. And then I noticed this as well right next to the dash. I don't know if you can see it, but there is like, oh, let me get some cover on it. There is a little bit of a scratch right there as well. I know I'm being picky, but when you spend the money I did, you know, when the dealership tells you everything is fine, you kind of expect it to be that way. Now the number one, I guess you can't really call it an issue with this car right now because I don't know if it's an issue or not, but the Carfax on this car is spotless. I'm talking oil changes every 3,000 miles, so pretty much this thing has been to the dealership at least 10 different times already. And one of the times I noticed on the Carfax, I went to a random shop over there in South Carolina, and they said like the car came in for two different issues. One was the client said that the center console was getting really hot, and I was like, oh my god, that's a known issue with the GTRs because of the downpipes being so close to the transmission tunnel. It would heat up the center console. Known issue. Every one of my GTRs had that. My buddies have the same problem. You know what's crazy? They said that they told him the issue was he had the heated seats on. All right, and the second issue was he claimed that the exhaust was rattling and making noises. I don't know if he was actually referring to the exhaust itself, or as we all know, the clutches, being the dry clutch in this car, they also rattle, make a clunking noise, especially when you start it or if you're driving sometimes. So who knows what he was referring to. They said they greased or lubed up the hinges and the hold the exhaust, and that was it. That was last I heard of it. So when I was buying this car, correction, when I bought the car, I messaged or I posted a Facebook story just saying like, oh, can you believe somebody did this wrap on the car, just to see, and a guy reached out and said, listen, I know this car, I've gotten multiple rides in it. It is the highest mileage 2024 in the US, and according to him, that car has had a transmission put in. Interesting, because well, all the repairs on this car, maintenance has been done through Nissan, but there is no record of a new transmission going in this car. So that does have me a little bit nervous, because if it was done at a Nissan store, you would have seen that, you know, a record on Carfax said Nissan dealership, blah, 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 transmission replacement or something, even if it was under warranty. But the fact there's no record of it being done, and he swore up and down that it was done on this car, means he probably went to a secondhand shop that did it, you know, like an aftermarket performance shop or somewhere. So I don't know, obviously he wouldn't put a new transmission in there for 20-30 grand. So probably, I don't know what to think. The car drives great, and in fact, let's go ahead and get on the road. And well, I mean, that's the whole reason of buying this car, right, is to enjoy it. Now speaking of transmissions, this thing shifts perfectly, man. I keep forgetting that this car is just so much fun, man. Golly, look at the smile come back on my face. It has been a minute since a car made me this happy. The twin turbo R8 was great, but it felt numb. The 911 Turbo S that my buddy owned that I drove, it felt numb. This car is so in your face, so mechanical. Even the gauges are still mechanical. All the gauges on the screen, like it even shows you the transmission oil pressure. When have you ever needed to know what that was all about for daily driving? It's such a like in your face car, like the way the car responds to the steering response, the chassis response when it takes off, I miss it. There's no other car in the world that drives like that. I'm telling you guys, go borrow your buddy's GTR if he lets you, or go test drive one, because you have to experience this for yourself. Nothing else in this world drives like a Nissan GTR, and I can see why it still sells as good as they did day one. There's only 13 available in the whole US. God, man, the way it handles these corners. I remember taking my last one to Tell of the Dragon, and that thing on the gauges were showing that it was pulling over a G of force at every single corner, and not a single tire squeak, nothing. These cars just impress, man. I love everything about these Nissan GTRs, man. It's wild. And I have noticed myself with the stock exhaust really driving it in manual mode more than anything, just so I can keep it at high RPMs and hear some of that exhaust noise. And let's talk about the most important part, and that is, well, how much did I pay for a 2024 Nissan GTR Premium Edition with 35,000 miles? So I'll tell you this, like I said, the only one on the market as of yesterday in the whole US was a 2024 with 15 or 18,000 or 19,000 miles for $150,000, or almost 160. I bought this car for $127,000, which is not bad because I have seen 2017s go for that amount of money. So I think there's two reasons why that happened. First off, this dealership started the price at $150,000. They bought it directly from the guy. He just wanted to sell it to him. They were asking him to sell it because they wanted GTR on their lot. They bought it for well over $150,000 from what I understand, and they couldn't get it. They dropped it to 140s. They took it to Cars and Coffee, just couldn't get no bites on it. Then I seen it drop to 129.9, so 130,000. I hit them up and said, look, high mileage, weird wrap on it. I'm pretty sure you're not going to get a lot of buyers because, you know, it takes money to take the wrap off. Who knows if there's damage underneath the wrap? We just don't know, but I'll offer you $127,500, and they said just come pick it up. So, you know, now I kind of see why as well. You know, they said there was two other people that were calling in, were working numbers on it when I was doing the deal, and I agree. I don't think they're lying about it, but I think if those people showed up and seen the condition of the car like I did, with the cracked rear diffuser, the front bumpers chipped or dented in, scratches inside, I think they would have lowballed them even under 127. Comment down below, what do you think? Do you think I got a good deal on it or not? Before you answer that, the sticker price on this car, new with all the options, which was the red interior, was $128,000. So I paid the same price as the person that bought this car paid a year ago, and 35,000 miles less. Talk about enjoying the car and getting all your money's worth back, because he didn't do much modifications, maybe what, $8,000, $10,000 worth of mods, and he got all his money back. Name another car that holds its value as good as this car does. The dealership said the trade-in value, and I did confirm because I called my buddy, the MMR was in the 120s, high 120s, 130 for this car, which means I got it for trade-in value. Everybody else wanted more money for it, and I believe it because, again, there's none out there for sale. If they are, they're stupid high price, and I know why that is, because they are really reliable, honestly. It's so mechanical out here. There's no touch screens minus one that's, you know, the Dodge Charger has a bigger one at this point that this does, and that's outdated. It doesn't have much going for it. It's got heated seats with just a little button on it. Everything is very much mechanical. It's just hard to beat this car, and the reliability is great. The engine is great. It's been proven over and over. The transmission's good. The clutches last. So the next step is trying to figure out what shop is going to take on the build of this car. I want them to do, obviously, a compression test, make sure everything's good on that end. We're going to start with full bolt-ons, which includes E85, of course, downpipe exhaust intakes. We just got to figure out what shop is going to do it, whether it's ssooo, Workhorse Performance, AMS. There's other shops maybe you guys know around me. I'm in North Carolina. I would love some input on it, but I am excited to really start enjoying this car. Road racing is fun. These cars can do it. I know that there's twin turbo R8s and Lambos that usually kill these cars on a quarter mile, like when they do street car takeovers, but again, I'm not trying to really do that much. I just want a super fun car that we can enjoy and then take to car meets and things like that. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you love this this car that we just picked up. Drop a like, drop a comment. Welcome to Lextasy channel. We're well over 12,000 subscribers, and we're going to be growing. This summer is going to be so much fun. I'm excited to bring you new content. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do, for all the support throughout the years. Enjoy your life, enjoy your cars, and I will see you next time. Peace.